So guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, I've got an MDF door which I've just made, and we have to prep the edges for painting now. Now I've sanded these edges down, so what we're going to do next is apply some filler to the edge, because what happens when you paint MDF, it will fur up and all the fibres in the MDF start to expand, and it leaves a really rough edge when you just apply paint to it, which requires sanding and sanding and sanding and sanding of several layers of paint. I've seen quite a few YouTube videos of people doing it that way, which there's nothing wrong with that, but there is another way of doing it which quite often gives you a better result, and that is to use some filler. So what we're going to do is mix some filler up, and don't need a lot. Take a little bit of it, and then all you're doing is applying it to the edge. It's a bit like plastering on the edge of the MDF. You just want a nice thin layer. And you will probably notice it starts drying pretty quick, because MDF is a porous surface, so now we are going to be sanding this, so you don't need to get it perfect, you just need to make sure you've covered the edges. See, all this here is already drying, so already done these edges, and this is the result of when you've sanded it. I've also sanded the edges. I'm just going to make sure by applying a little bit more where it's missed. You can tell by where it's white there that it's gone into the fibres, so this should offer up a nice smooth edge when it's painted. Do the same with the, I'm just moving it with my finger. So what I'm doing now is I'm using a scrap block of wood, which is just the offcut, and then wrapping some sandpaper around. It's already at like a V shape, so it will go in these grooves that I've routed out. So I applied a lot of filler into there. This will help make them smooth. And once I've done, I just need to brush off all the dust and make sure that I've sanded it down correctly and made it all nice and smooth. So I'm just running sandpaper in now without the block. It's 240 grit sandpaper, so it'll give it a nice smooth finish. In the next part, I'm using a Ron-Seal base coat, which we would normally use on walls and ceilings in houses, and this is excellent primer because it covers and it seals the MDF quite well. And I'm using my Erbauer airless sprayer here, which literally doesn't take long to do. So I'm doing the edges first, and I'm only using a 5/17 tip in this, which is normally what we'd use for emulsion, but it's doing a really good job of this. You could probably do with something a little bit finer, but I don't have anything finer, so I'm just using this. And again, the Ronseal base coat does act as a primer. It's ideal for stain covering as well on ceilings and walls, but for MDF it's absolutely perfect as a primer. There's a nice thick coat on there, and that is just one coat. It's hardly patchy, that is just drying out in the sun. It's really hot day today, so it's drying out really quick. You can already tell by the edge there that that's really smooth, and the edges have not furred up much at all with the filler in, so that's just one coat. So it's up to you if you want to do it a second time. I will be giving this a second coat of primer now, and hopefully it will look good on the second coat. So now we are at that second coat stage, and again you look at the edges and you just look at how smooth they are with that filler in. Door almost looks perfect. You look at the grooves, you can't see any furring whatsoever in those grooves. There's an absolutely good coverage on these base coats that you buy. Running my finger in just to check, and it is absolutely super smooth. So there we go. Super smooth finish. We'll be using a satin finish on this, which again is a water base. We'll be using Leyland satin fast drying Leyland satin finish. So this has had two coats. I've sanded it down with 240 grit paper to get rid of any of the lumps and bumps. Because I've done this outside, it has collected some dust and debris that have been blowing around in the wind. So this is at the house where I'm fitting it. You can see the edges are super smooth on it. It's had two coats of fast drying, and there's the old door that I've taken off. As you can see, it's absolutely knackered. And we're just going to get this in the new, well, it's saying the new, it's going under the staircase, and it'll make a lot of difference to the house. So go inside now, and there you go, as if by magic, fitted. You see, I'll just open it in a minute, and you'll see that the edge at the top there, what you can see immediately, is absolutely super smooth. No furring on that. Looks brilliant. Job well done. So thanks for watching. Hope you have a good day.